Man, you come straight out of the coma.
So let's go back to the top. What are you guys' thoughts?
So here's the first thing I got to say, and this is to go back off of what you said, Deuce, and to CT's point. I agree with you about Ezra Miller as the actor in this movie. His portrayal was kind of very awkward. But to CT's point, that's where the writing came in perfectly, because I like that they had both versions of them. Because if you only gave me Justice League Barry, I would have not been able to watch him for 2 hours. If you'd have given me College Barry for 2 hours, I would not have been able to sit there and tolerate that. Because the both of them were there, you got to see the differences in the two and how they combat one another, which made that great writing for this movie, and which what made that him stand out as his own Flash.
Yeah.
And he raised himself. He taught him. That's the thing where I say the growth came from, because he wasn't able to grow without seeing a younger version of himself. Him seeing a younger version of himself made him realize, wow, this is how I come off to people.
It did.
This is exactly how I sound. And he became a big brother. He's like, yo, would you stop goofing off? Would you just focus for 2 seconds? And young Barry had to be like, hey, man, why you being such a dick, bro? I've done everything.
Right.
I've done every single thing that you've asked me for. And the only thing he didn't say is, motherfucker, I got powers and you don't have shit, and I'm trying to help you out. Right? We in the Batcave, like Will just said, why would I not be extremely excited about this? And then older Barry had to confront his own grief, which he'd never been serious before that moment. So this was a hyperbolic chamber for the character of the Snyderverse Flash's Barry Allen, because it forced him to grow up so quickly, and it forced him to become a true hero without relying on Batman or other members of the Justice League. And I think that's another reason that this movie was brilliant, because the first thing he did was say, all right, Zod's here. We got to find Superman. We got to find Wonder Woman. We got to find Aquaman. We got to find Cyborg, because they, and he kept saying they will be able to take him down. And in that, by nobody being available except for Batman, he realized, oh shit, Batman is not even here. Kara's dead. I have to save the world. I have to save the universe. And the only way that he could save the universe was from himself. So if that didn't give him a growth and a time shift for the character full circle development of Barry Allen, I don't know what will. And that's another part of why it was so fucking incredible, because we saw this character literally reach within. And that's something that we haven't even been able to see. Ben Affleck looks the part of Batman. He acts the part of Batman. If he only had one film as a solo Batman, he would go down as my favorite Batman, right under Michael Keaton. But he's not, because he will never get a solo film. So Michael Keaton in this movie, because we're talking about the good as we get off the Barry Allen for a second, Michael Keaton is the greatest Batman that has ever existed.
Oh my God, yes, bro.
He's the greatest.
That fight scene was one of the most dopest Batman fight scenes. Like, it was like,
what movie?
Like, it was he was talking cash shit. He was whooping their ass. You can see fear. It was just so much Batman about it that was so amazing. Like, I was just like, yeah. And like, even like how I expected an old man Batman to be, I'm like, yeah, man, like, this is old man Batman. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, man, like, look here, I'm done. The only issue that I had with that old man Batman was, like, I feel like Bruce, no matter what, if Gotham can be saved, but as soon as a threat comes, Bruce jumping back in action. Like, I didn't like how he was kind of like, whatever.
Well, here's the thing. You gotta, and I want y'all to start looking at every movie like this. And I'm not telling y'all to think like me, but I'm telling you to open your eyes and open your mind. This is for everybody watching as well. When you watch films, don't just look at what you're seeing on screen. Think about what this actually means for the character. Now, what you just said, Deuces, first of all, this has nothing to do with Michael Keaton being my favorite Batman. I just want you to hear me out. Michael Keaton's Batman said, Gotham is one of the safest cities in the world. They don't need me anymore. So what does the world become when you are a hero? Fuck just being Batman. What does the world become when the world doesn't need you? when the world doesn't need you, you stay in your cave and you're playing the rock music all day. You done grew your hair out. Your butler died, who was your last physical piece of family that knew you since you were a little boy.
Yeah.
Your sidekicks have probably all gone off to do whatever they wanted and live their life. You're left alone with these billions of dollars, with this hospital that's clearly falling apart, but you have all of these different things going for you. You just stay in the house. So if you're not needed as a hero, you just grow old and you enjoy your own company until this young man comes and says, yo, we need you. And even though he was kind of crotchety about it, he was like, you know what? Fuck it. You need me. I'm back. Didn't miss a step. That's what would happen to Batman.
Because I loved it even with him picking out his wounds. Like to me, that was like I'm back, baby. Like he feeling it. Like I did love that moment of it, of everything about that. And like I said, I really like the portrayal. Like Dion said, we can take Supergirl out of this movie. It doesn't change anything. Yeah. But I was highly interested more into the story. I like that.
Let's talk about Supergirl. Supergirl, and shout out to Melissa Benoist from the television show. The television show ended up failing not because of her, because she definitely represented an incredible Supergirl. She is an incredible actress. She portrayed Supergirl as we would hope, the girl next door who believes in truth and justice, right? However, the reason Supergirl, the show, failed is because they got too political with their message, and it turned people off who weren't with those values and beliefs. It happens. Sometimes you just have to keep a superhero show about superhero stuff. You can't.
Way too many boxes they try to check.
They try to check too many boxes, and when you do that, you turn off your main audience, which are the superhero fans. Now, with that said, when you look at Supergirl in this movie, she was just kicking ass. She was a dark version of Supergirl. She wasn't born and raised on Earth. She's like, look, I'm Kryptonian. The only human interaction that she had was with those Soviet soldiers who were torturing her for the past 20 years, and with Batman and the two Flashes who showed her compassion and love. So her loyalty was to them, less about the human race and more about these particular humans who saved her. And she was willing to fight for them. And especially when she saw Zod, she's like, these are my people, but I realized they're not my people, so I'll fight. So she's not fully trained by the time she goes. You got to understand, Zod is a military general. You can't just beat him because you have the same powers he does.
Yeah.
Because we don't know how long she's been in that chamber with them Soviets either.
I was just about to say that. Yeah. You know,
God
and like
what you say?
Doing God knows what.
No, man, I don't want to hear that.
Let's take it in that far, bro.
I mean, he was in the nightgown.
You wild, bro.
She was in a prison suit to potato sack.
I'm glad that I do like Zod as a villain. Zod has always been one of my favorite villains. I like that, you know, he stuck to his plan. Apparently everybody was at the battlegrounds when Zod was taking over, because that was another thing. I was like, Barry was there too. We just learned Bruce was there. Like, how many people was there prematurely when Zod tore down, Metropolis? Like, it seemed like everybody was at that battleground. But then another thing that I noticed, I said, we all noticed that terraforming of the earth, like how aggressive it was. But when they showed that dad going up and us knowing that he was about to just hit the ground and like bro, I was like, yo, that is like, and they knew, because like the way that they put that car in front of the scene so you don't see the splat. But I was like, bro, that is an aggressive way to go.
But you gotta remember this too. They didn't pay that scene off. If we're talking about that scene, you showed us this scene and you showed that Barry was scared. He was this 18-year-old kid with flash powers and he was scared. Now we know Barry now could have saved both of them. But at that time, he was still figuring out his powers. He didn't get a chance to. So when you fast forward and you show this alternate timeline and you show that same son and his father running away from that car accident, you're now telling me this is the exact same thing is about to happen, because neither of them saved them now.
Yeah. So
you didn't pay it off. You didn't get your Gwen and Garfield moment.
Also, how he outran that?
Outran what?
How did he not get squished by this alien technology? I really had an issue with that. Like,
this father and son or Barry?
Flat, yeah. Like, how did you not get squished? Because the dude that got squished, you're right here. Y'all not that far from each other. How did you not get caught?
They showed. I'll tell you. The reason that Flash had his son in his arm. Flash had the man's son in his arm. As reality started to hit, because they were all in slow-mo, and then they go back to regular time. As they're about to go splat, Barry activated his Flash electricity and was able to slow down before they hit the ground, and he was able to create his own momentum in Flash time, and now he's able to get away right before the car landed on.
Okay.
Also, how was that little child's bones and intestines not ripped out of his body because he just learned how to use his power?
I'm glad you asked. Now, if you realize that's one through line, they were very careful about the logistics of speed in the film. So just like he explained what happened with the baby shower to younger Barry, and he said, look, you can only move objects, you can only move things around people, but you can't move people. And he's like, I learned that the hard way. So him saying I learned that the hard way, he could have made that kid throw up back then. They just didn't show it to us.
True.
But when a young Flash moved Barry when they were over in the Soviet Union, that's why you saw older Barry throwing up for so long, is because he moved Barry, which is kind of goes against Flash saving anybody, because if he can't touch people without them throwing up, what are we talking about?
Remember, save one. In Justice League, it should be a lot of niggas throwing up.
A lot of niggas.
Also, if this was a funny something that somebody pointed out when he was having his pre-date with Iris, right? And then he discovered he came up with the idea, I can go out and I can time travel, and then he time traveled in that moment. It was like, bro, finish the date. You can go back in time at any given time.
That's a good point.
Finish the date. Like,
but
he
he also
have to cut it short.
It didn't even need to be a date. Like, I felt her coming over. First of all, I'm not an old-fashioned guy, and I'm saying this as somebody who's watching a movie. Why did she come to his house so soon, bro? They were not even familiar like that for her to come to his crib.
There was not enough chemistry right there
No.
for me to feel like, oh yeah, I'll come to this dude house who I ain't seen in years
Since
that
college?
I don't know about, who's kind of a weirdo too. Like,
And also, Patty Spivot, I didn't like the portrayal of Patty Spivot or the other guy. I'm not familiar with him from the comic books, but Patty Spivot and Flash actually have a little thing in different versions of Flash. And in this movie, in two separate timelines, one, she's his coworker, which she always is, and in the second timeline, she is his roommate who is in a relationship with Albert. But Patty Spivot and the guy Albert, Barry isn't teased at work by these people. Barry is a loner at work. He gets talked to crazy by the captain of police, the captain of the police squad, and his direct superior. But for that to have happened by him having like these two meaningless sidekicks was ridiculous. Also, Barry was talking to Iris as if he was going to tell her he was the Flash, because he's talking like, I know I'm going to change this reality. I'll just go back and do this.
I thought he was about to drop it in his apartment and then take off.
Yeah.
I really did too. I thought he was about to say, I'm the Flash and I just figured something out. I'm going to be right back. I thought he was about to do that. And then he just took off. I'm like, wait, did you really leave her in your apartment? Did you walk back in and say, great to meet you, and close the apartment and not recognize, like, you're in my apartment right now?
Never said that. Why wouldn't you say, oh, yeah, this is my apartment, I guess you should go, but you can stay, or some shit like that?
Yeah. On the comedy tip, again, I do love that they kept on like joking on the stiffness of the neck of that bat suit. Like, even that moment of Barry Allen ripping it off, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just love that, because, you know, to me, and there was two moments where I like it should have paid off. Because if you remember in The Dark Knight, like that was a joke that they had when Morgan Freeman was like, you're going to want to move your neck, right? And so then they changed the suit so that way he could move his neck.
Well, the ability to turn your head, huh?
Yeah. So my thing is like they joked about the running of Barry Allen in this movie. Why y'all didn't change the running? Why joke on it if you're just going to keep it?
Oh, nigga.
If you're just going to keep it. Like,
he was running in, he thought he was running fast. He said,
that run was some bullshit, boy.
Bro, yeah, I was like, I don't even understand what's the purpose of you going fast in that stance. Like, did nobody, like, was Usain Bolt not available to teach you how to?
I don't know if he's throwing lightning. Is he throwing lightning or something that maybe he
they
just
never explained it.
They did never explain. They touched on it when he said about overheating and being able to distribute the lightning. So I took that as to mean that, like Dion said, he's throwing lightning as he runs, so he doesn't so he doesn't catch too much lightning naturally by just doing like this. But even this, he could throw lightning up and down. So I don't know why they chose that run. Maybe it was just an actor choice.
I think it was. It would have been perfect if it was a security guard watching now on the surveillance camera.
Yo, that would have been great. That would have been a great cameo for somebody to go, hey, yo, come check this dude out.
Now, but hey, I'm so glad you said it. Let's talk about cameos.
Let's talk about the cameo.
Ladies and gentlemen, my number one cameo, Christopher Reeves, bro.
Okay.
As our original Superman.
I respect that.
I felt like this was, shout out to Andy Muschietti. This movie was a love letter to those of us who were fans of Michael Keaton and Christopher Reeve, Superman and Batman. And shout out to Supergirl from the original Supergirl film. But this was also a love letter to the character of Superman and the character of Batman. And it was a huge FU to the Flash. And what I mean is, this was a huge FU to the TV universe of Flash.
Yo,
they didn't show.
I already know what you're going to say. Say it, CT.
They didn't show Barry Allen from television, Grant Gustin, and they didn't show John Wesley Shipp. How do you say, as a director, I had an idea for so many cameos, and DC said I could use whoever I wanted as long as they were a DC character, and you don't put in the original TV's Flash and the Flash that's played it longer than any other Flash, and say you didn't have time? Come on, bro.
No, I'm sorry, bro. That was so disrespectful to one of the cornerstones that built DC. Like, despite what you may want to say about the thing, that DC television run, the Arrowverse, that should have been acknowledged here. And the thing was, I did not mind seeing the other cameo that I like, which was finally seeing Nicolas Cage as work.
No, you can't just gloss over that. We're
not. But there is a part where he was shown twice where that could have been a place for the whole universe for television.
Yeah, but you also could have shown, like, how dare you not show TV's Grant Gustin or TV's John Wesley Shipp, but you have the gall, the audacity to show Professor Zoom from that same TV universe.
Wow. Bro, I'll take it one step further. If you remember, like, movie show, I think you had jumped off at the time, but when they was doing their Crisis Across Infinite Earths, when they had Grant Gustin meet Ezra Miller, Ezra Miller at that point wasn't calling himself the Flash.
No.
So Barry said, Grant Gustin said, hey, I'm the Flash. You don't know me? And he's like, the Flash. So not only are y'all not using Grant Gustin, y'all not using the person that gave y'all the name.
But you showed, hold on, because you got to get caught up, Will. We just dropped a bombshell on saying, how do you not show Grant Gustin or John Wesley Shipp, but you show Professor Zoom from that exact same TV universe as Jay Garrick? That's who they show. Beyond that, you mean to tell me that you didn't call yourself the Flash before you met Barry Allen's the Flash, but you don't even show that cameo? Then on top of that, young Deuces, when you show the cameo, you don't even pay off the people who saw that that cameo, because you don't even show the scene on how he got in and out of that realm.
Right.
Yeah,
it was ridiculous. I was like, come on, Andy.
Y'all said just literally what I was about to say. It was a waste of the appearance from him in the original CW.
Because the CW didn't need the appearance. So it was already on fire.
You just made that show like that was useless to show us like, oh, we'll give you it for TV, but it's not good enough for the movies. I'm like, that's a huge slap in the face. And I know this next one ain't a slap in the face. This is just for me personally. Where the fuck was Dean Cain? He's not doing nothing. Why could he have not given a cameo? Because that's my Superman right there.
That's my number 2 Superman. Yeah. Nobody is Christopher Reeves, and I've said this before. My Supermen are Christopher Reeves, Dean Cain, Henry Cavill. You don't. How dare you disrespect Dean Cain? Dean Cain gets the shaft because of, I guess people would say his political views, but I'm like, bro, Dean Cain held us down as Superman for years, and he was an incredible Superman, and he's part Asian, so you get Asian Superman, bro.
I was like, yo, how did we skip him in this thing? I was like, yo, if you didn't want to do the TV CW shit, fine. You could have gave us a 3D rendering of Dean Cain. Like, yo, he embodied everything from that 90s Superman, from the cartoon. He looked like the cartoon Superman. He carried everything. What gave us the old school version of it, from the fonts that they use in the TV show, the old school. I was like, yo, that was the perfect bubble that they made to give Superman for a television show.
You can watch Lois and Clark in the New Adventures of Superman today. Dean Cain is the Superman that I was first introduced to, because I didn't get a chance to watch original Superman with Christopher Reeves except on reruns of television as a kid. You know, they'll show a movie in a minute, but Dean Cain, I remember the premiere of Lois and Clark, the New Adventures of Superman, on television with my mother and being like, yo, Ma, this is Superman. Do you understand how I felt? And I hope you cut all of this stuff together that I'm saying about Dean Cain, Will, because he follows me on IG.
Well, no. This is gonna be the clip, because we the same way what you just said. My mom too.
Dean Cain is single-handedly carried the torch of Superman since Christopher Reeves was Superman, and for him not to get acknowledged is disrespectful.
That man is to me the Wesley Snipes Blade of Marvel. They held that man.
DC.
Because if it was, of DC, my bad, of DC. Blade to Marvel, Superman to DC. I agree with you completely, because that was one thing, like you said, my mom watched that with me. Like, that's the first thing me and my mom watched for a comic book character. We both could enjoy.
Where does it stop, though, man? This was the Flash movie. Where does it stop? They did a bunch of Batmans, they did a bunch of Supermans. They ain't gonna have like, you know, Halle Berry as Catwoman. Like, hey, why ain't they had Catwoman? They don't have much.
No. It's not that. And the only reason we bring up, and this is not completely shitting on Andy Muschietti, but they showed that this. I started this with, this was a love letter to more so Batman and Superman fans, because they showed Christopher Reeves, they showed George Reeves, who was the first Superman incarnation on television, besides one person before him in the 30s, I believe. And then you showed Adam West. But without showing Adam West, if you're going to show Adam West, you got to show me the animated Kevin Conroy, especially since we lost him. And you can't show Dean Cain, but this is where I think they got out of it. They didn't show, until they showed Adam West, they hadn't shown any TV iterations of any of the heroes. And then when they showed Adam West, I'm like, okay, so you can show Adam, but you can't show Grant Gustin and Dean Cain and John Wesley Shipp, bro.
Yeah.
And then, so now let's get to the one that blew us away.
The big three, though. Who was the big three in DC?
The big three?
Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman.
And Wonder Woman. They ain't showed no Wonder Womans.
But they had Gal Gadot.
They had Gal Gadot.
But what about the original? They could have used her.
Linda Carter. I think the reason that they did not show Linda Carter is because Linda Carter has gotten her cameo in love with Wonder Woman too.
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they've shown her before. But I'm more so upset we didn't see an appearance of Dean Cain. We didn't see Grant. We didn't see John Wesley Shipp. And no matter how you feel about the TV show, come on, brother. Anyway, so when you show the cameo of Jay Garrick with stock footage from the TV show Flash, but you say you don't have enough time to show TV's Flash, it blew me away. And I know they had time.
And the thing was, too, the easiest thing you could have given us, the same exact scene from the show.
That's all we wanted.
All we had to do was show the world, do this, and see the two of them standing there eyeing each other and him looking at it as it's colliding.
There's so many scenes in the show of Flash of him looking at the universe in general. Like I said, you know, I get it. If you want to have him actually there shoot new footage, but like both of y'all said, there's so much stock footage that's already set that it could have fit in that realm. Yeah, we see it on CW commercials when like Dare to Defy, the niggas looking up. Like, you could have used one of those.
The problem was the suit. I think if anything, if they could admit it, and rarely will you ever see a company admit that they made a mistake. The problem was the suit. You showed Flash in a brand new Flash costume. So by the time he went into the Speed Force to go back in time the first time, he was already wearing the new suit. Right. So when he goes back in time and he pops his head up and he sees the grocery store, he sees the babies, him saving himself. It would have been better and would have made more sense for him to have started the movie in the costume he had on in the Justice League film.
Yes,
so that way, when he goes back in time, he could have saw, oh man, I met the Flash. Oh, this is crazy. Okay. Goes back into his present day, and then maybe his suit is destroyed. And then he's like, oh, I got to get out of here. And he grabs a ring out of his drawer, and that could have been the new suit that he was working on. And that could have been the suit for the rest of the film. Easy fixes.
Also, too, now that does, and then, okay, now to that point, though, it kind of does throw off that and seeing that or why that wouldn't work. Because like you just said, why would he revert back to his
the old suit? Yeah.
Yeah, because now I am kind of confused because with that being like where we are with the Flash now, are the ramifications of what's going to happen in the Justice League still a thing? And is he still going to hit us with the, Lois is the key? Like
that's
it was
the
always
thing.
her.
Yeah.
Because he
now
still
that we
had
know,
that suit, and it looked like an evolution of his first suit.
And that's another problem. So this is another reason the Snyderverse is done. And I wish Snyder not even would, because this is property of Warner Brothers, but I wish he would just release every single thing he shot, because
just throw it out there.
The thing that pissed me off about the Snyderverse is through all of that, they say, all right, here, make the rest of your movie, man. Here's $20 or $30 million. You only show us a snippet of the Martian Manhunter. You show us, because of the internet, pictures of the Green Lantern. I don't know what Justice League you could ever have without the Green Lantern, bro. That's ridiculous. Yeah. So how do you have the Green Lantern not in the movie? How do you show a snippet of the Martian Manhunter, but he doesn't join the fight against Darkseid? That doesn't make sense to him to be on the sidelines this long.
Well, to the point too, though, then I think that also comes in where we got to start also leading towards Warner Brothers on that, because of what they were trying to do with Green Lantern and everything. Maybe they didn't want that interfering with what they have planned down the line and stuff like that. So that also
their plan, you're right, but their plan was trash, because they were like, we're gonna have a Green Lantern and he's gonna be gay. Hey, can he just be good before we start talking about his orientation? No, he's gonna be gay. Listen, man, that's not his identity. I'm sure he's going to do other things from 9 o'clock until noon without just being with whoever his significant other is. So my point is, I'm glad that got scrapped, because James Gunn was like, yo, we're going to do a Green Lantern, and it's going to be John Stewart and Hal Jordan. And it's like, oh, thank God.
Just give us, like you said, give us the original first.
Yes.
I do need to go back on, though. I need to give CT his props. Because I've watched so many Flash breakdown movies, right? And when they get to the about how to explain time travel in this world, CT gave the most simplest version. Everybody is so convoluted, and I've just been going back to the ABC, that bro, you broke it down in the most easiest. I said that makes exact sense on what we're seeing here, because that's another thing. I'm like, I wanted to get, like, how did y'all feel about the Chrono Bowl and the whole time travel timeline? Like, how did y'all feel about those scenes? Because I didn't necessarily like it.
Let me go ahead and light this fire now, because I've been waiting to say this. This movie did what Spider-Man dumbass third movie was trying to do way fucking better. That's what they did. These people showed the multiverse better. They did cameos better. They tied in this story to pay homage to everything else way better. And I like how they showed these different ways, especially with the Speed Force, because it wasn't just a regular stream. It wasn't just us seeing these cracks and fictions. Like, they really gave us, hey, here's the Chrono Bowl. This is your time. Fix it. And I like how it was like, okay, we're going and we're breaking. It kind of remind me of Interstellar. And I was like, I like how Interstellar did it when he broke through the black hole and you saw all the different stuff. I like that they gave us that. One thing I still got to say I will call BS on to that is the CG. I get what the director had stated. It was like, yo, the CG isn't bad. We made it like that because it's through Barry's view, and it's kind of a water world like thing. I would have been okay if they would have just made it a regular CG and not this distorted looking thing, because it looked creepy to me. For me, it was kind of a little much on a big ass screen. I'm like, ugh.
Right. See, I didn't necessarily like it, but it didn't take me out. I appreciate them what they tried to do. You got to think, we've been dealing with multiverse. Like, there's so many properties telling a multiversal story that we've heard it every which way for like the past 5 years in so many ways, right? So I respect DC for like, all right, we just got to do something different. Like, and I give them that. Like, this looks completely different. I also like the little small details. People didn't realize in the Chrono Bowl when he was running, the bottom of it was filled with sand, and it's supposed to represent the sands of time. So I was like, oh, I actually kind of fuck with that symbolism and everything like that. I just, for me, just I did, like I said, it didn't hit. Like, it came down to, like, I get it. You want to be different. You don't want to tell it the exact same way as the other ones, but like, I feel like other ways have worked. Whereas like, this is now to me canon, but like, I can say I respect them for trying to give us something different visually.
This is what I love.
Yeah.
I don't mind the CG, and I'll tell you why. The CG, by it being the watery look, now you can create Christopher Reeves standing and looking ripped, more ripped than he did in his own actual movie, even though for his time he was ripped. You know what I'm saying?
Right?
Number two, correcting the wrongs of the studio, meaning, first of all, there have been many studio heads at Warner Brothers for the past 40 and 50 years that were idiots, meaning, and I say that respectfully and disrespectfully, there is no reason we shouldn't have seen Supergirl and Superman on screen at the same time for their respective movies if they both had one. Two, there's no reason that Christopher Reeves got in his accident, I believe in 1995 or 96, and we didn't see Christopher Reeves and Michael Keaton's Batman and Superman team up. There is no reason that we should not have seen John Wesley Shipp's Flash, Linda Carter's Wonder Woman, Superman, and Batman team up at least once. Like, these are things that are ridiculous. So with the CG,
Justice League,
with the CG, that's why it made sense, because we could see a recreation of Christopher Reeves, and we could see Supergirl, and we could see Nicolas Cage play Superman, which was nothing but a scrapped project from Warner Brothers that got its popularity and heat online. So for us to even be able to see that scene created, and for us to see the scene happen with him and this giant spider, Superman from Superman Lives, is crazy.
Now, did any of y'all watch the documentary of that? I'm pretty sure CCU did, The Death of Superman Lives.
Well, no, I want to see it though.
I'm surprised you did. Yeah, because it's because it tells the story of everything that they did, like how far they got into production, the storyline. So, you know, and so when I saw the spider, I'm like, oh shit.
I'll watch it today.
Right. I was like, oh shit, because I knew that was that storyline. So because of everything that they showed us in the trailers, all the Easter eggs, this was my favorite Easter egg. It was the one that I didn't expect. It was the one that came out of nowhere. Huh?
That's Michael B. Jordan.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of waiting for that. I was like, maybe they might hit at the Black Superman. But when I saw Nicolas Cage do it, and I was just kind of like, you know what?
I said,
this is why they didn't cash you. I see now why they didn't cash you. I would have not liked that.
Has it been a long-haired Superman besides Smallville?
Just when he had the black suit when he came back from the
and that was a cartoon.
Yeah,
we never saw. Well, actually, Dean Cain did a black suit version of Superman, but he didn't have long hair.
Now, one thing that CT talked about with the alternate endings, somebody gave a perspective about an ending that I was like, ooh, that actually probably I felt like it would have went better. So remember, I think we talked about it in the group chat, or we talked about it on the last episode where I told you like the early screenings that they were giving everybody, they said that it was, you know, the last 10 minutes was cut off, right? So the way that the movie ended in like for those early screenings was when Bruce walks out, all you see is the feet, and you hear Ezra Miller say, who the fuck is that? And then it goes off. And so they were saying that was better because it's like, if we're getting a whole new Batman and we don't know who it is, that's a better ending, because then it reopens the conversation like, oh shit, so yeah, who is our next Batman? Who was that? And you can retcon that with, you know, with the new films.
Hold on, Deuce. Here's why I like that, because of several reasons. One, it shows the consequence that I wish they would have always kept showing with the Flash, that Flashpoint destroys the Flash, and he never goes home. Like once he leaves that timeline, he can never come back to that timeline, and that's the consequence of Flashpoint. And so I like that they showed Bruce to show like, oh shit, I did not get back to my timeline. And the second that leads into that is now, but what messes this up is the Easter egg, is that you could have left him there and that ended everything to start over with the new Flash.
Yeah.
Never came home, never came back. That was his consequence. Now we can fully start over with the new Flash and how we moving into this legacy. That's why I like that ending like that.
But here's the thing, the opportunity, and unfortunately, this has to do with probably James Gunn's plans, because you guys are now in the James Gunn era. This is DCU now. If I'm the head of DC and I know the Flash is coming out, I'm going to say, you know what? I got to cast my Flash right now. Because what you guys just said about how that ending could have been, I got to cast my Flash right now, and I got to cast my Batman right now. Because at the end of that movie, all I got to do is show Barry Allen showing up in the courtroom or looking in the mirror, or actually, this is what you show. This is how you cut it. You show the Flash's father in the courtroom and him doing the case like they just did, and then him turning around, his dad turning around, and to camera. This is to camera, and him saying, "We did it, son," right? And we don't see Barry Allen. Woo! We just see a hand reaching back to his father, and he's like, "We did it, son." And he's like, "Yeah." And then he gets outside, and then you see the back of Barry's head, and maybe Iris comes up, and she's like, "Barry, you did it." And he turns around, and he said, "Yeah, we did it." That's a different Flash. That's number one. 2, he picks up the phone as the audience is in shock. Hey, Bruce, I can't wait to tell you what just happened, man. I messed things up, but I fixed things. Anyway, I can't wait to see you again, and I'll tell you all about it. He's like, I'm pulling up now. He pulls up. He gets out the car. He says, who the fuck is that? And now this is our new Batman.
Yeah.
You had the opportunity to show all of this.
All of that.
But you were waiting to see how the sales went.
And to your point, you could have combined those two to introduce both the new Flash and Batman.
Yep.
That's what I just said. Yeah, man. That's what you and your
okay. I was like, wait. I thought you had I pulled the Deuce.
Wait, hold on, Dion. Because when I do that, y'all go way harder at me. We need to give Will the whole.
That's what I said. I pulled the
Deuces treatment.
I pulled the Deuce just now. That's what I did.
CT was nice. He said, "That's what I said."
Right.
That's what I said. The only reason I didn't go hard on Will is because I genuinely know he's dealing with a lot right now because the fucking nachos over there. But what's funny is while I'm saying everything, Will is like, yep. I'm like, oh, this nigga just waiting to talk. He didn't hear shit that I said.
Because they keep I don't understand why they ain't never been this loud doing this shit. Now for some reason,
he said, "Yeah, we can hear you, nigga."
Yeah, everybody and their mama wanted to come fix the sink now for some reason.
You know why it is? 3 weeks. It's like kids. Like when a kid is like, say for example, you babysit your nephew, or your little brother or sister. And it's just y'all two, they quiet, they ain't bothering you. Yeah. As soon as you get on the phone, hey, look what I can do over here. You're like, hey man, get the fuck out of my mouth, fam. I'm on the phone.
Yeah. Now, hey, so I heard at the very end there was an Aquaman and Flash. You heard about that? I didn't get to see it. I walked away.
Why did you leave?
I had these restroom.
And you couldn't come back?
I'm talking about I had these restroom like third act. I was like, ooh.
Oh, you wow.
Oh, wow. So you didn't see the ending?
No, when the credits start rolling.
Oh,
gotcha. Yeah. I seen what y'all talking about right there with the Batman thing.
Oh, yeah. So the scene that you missed and it was just a drunken Arthur Curry and Flash really trying to talk to him, telling him like who he is, telling him like, yeah, we need you and everything like that. And then, he gathers himself and they walk out into the alley. Like it wasn't like anything crazy. It didn't really set up much. It just confirmed like, okay, yeah, the connection.
They could have showed that right after the movie ended, like a super mid-credit joint. We should not have had to wait for all the credits for that. Because when you wait for all the credits, your expectations get higher the longer the credit sequence is.
Yeah. You know what sucks about the Flash and Aquaman is it's like somebody saying, "Hey, do you want to come to my first wedding to support it? We're gonna be in Aruba. I need you to just fly out there." it's like, why you say your first marriage? Because I'm getting married again, and it's like I'm getting married in LA. It's like, hey, why do you want me to invest in your first marriage? It's like, why are we supporting this? Because they're setting up nothing.
They setting up nothing.
All this for nothing, dude.
That's another reason why, like, again, like I said, you know, we want good standalone movies, but we also like a connected movie, right? Because of all the cameos, it felt like a connected movie, but it didn't pay off. That's what irritated me. And then also, and this was a slight irritant. It didn't take away from the movie, but afterwards I thought about it. I said, bro, this whole movie, Barry did not at once question who killed his mom. He didn't do any research. He didn't look into it. There was not one moment that he said, who killed my mom?
I still think Daddy did it.
Not one. You wow. Now, this is another reason why, as filmmakers, I get annoyed, because we all know that in the story of the Flash, the Reverse Flash is the person that kills Barry's mother. Yeah. Now, in this movie, there was a way to introduce the Reverse Flash outside of the cameo I just mentioned, by you just showing, you can show a shadowy figure, and we just have to wonder, who is that shadowy figure that we saw running away, who Barry saw running away out of the back door when he saw his mom, and he had to decide to tend to his mom or go after the shadowy figure, and that could have haunted him. I should have went after the shadowy figure. I should have went after the shadowy figure. And then when he becomes the Flash, not only does he go after the shadowy figure, but now he's even more confused. So by the time he goes to the Chrono Bowl and the guy knocks him out of it, he could say you, and he could have been wrong, because he knows that there's more than just that one you.
But here's my question. How mad would you have been to find out it wasn't him and it was Savitar? You'd have been pissed about that, and you didn't get to see Reverse Flash. That's
no, I would have been angry. This, you got to set up. Okay, so superhero movies for the past since Spider-Man 2, I'm sorry, since Batman Returns. Damn, that's not the truth either. Ever since Superman 3 or Superman 2, there's always been two villains in every superhero movie. Right, so you look at Superman 1, you had Zod and his two generals. He also was Lex Luthor in Superman 1.
In Man of Steel?
No, Superman 1. Christopher Reeve.
With Reeves? Ooh,
I know he was in 2, but I don't know if he was in 1.
What was 1 about? Zod, right? And his two people.
1 was about Zod, yeah.
I want to say he was featured, but I don't think he was like the enemy.
Okay, so you got Lex Luthor and you got Zod and his two generals. Yeah. Then when you go to Superman 2 through 4, he had two villains. Then you go to Michael Keaton's Batman, he had the Joker, and I believe he fought, I think it was just the Joker for that. Oh no, it was the Joker, and technically it was the Falcone guy. Or Marco. It was, the Falcones and the Maronis have always been Batman villains. So that was a lesser known person for Batman 1, because that person went against the Joker, and the Joker came back and got his revenge. Batman Christian Bale Begins, it was Ra's al Ghul and it was Scarecrow. Batman The Dark Knight, it was the Joker, it was Two-Face. Batman, then the third one, it was against Bane and Talia al Ghul.
Just so you know, Luthor was in the first one. He was played by Gene
Hackman. Yeah, thank you. So every movie has had two villains. Even if you go to Batman Forever, Two-Face and Riddler, Batman and Robin, Poison Ivy, Mr. Freeze, and Bane. So then even when you get to Batman versus Superman, you had Lex Luthor and you had Doomsday. So superhero movies, without going to every single one, have 80% of the time have had two villains. So when you look at the Flash, you could have had the two villains and one got away. Like I just set it up for you perfectly. Show us the Reverse Flash and then have him deal with Savitar.
And if they wanted to be like a film buff and go off of like past movies where they only had the one and it didn't work, they can go off of that second Fantastic Four. That was one of my biggest issues, was like the main fight felt like it was going to be a mid fight, and it turned out being the climax. And I was like, wait, what? And so it was like, and that was a movie that showed like they tried to do it with just the one villain and it didn't work. So like it also adds to credence to exactly what you're saying on the other.
And you can do, and I don't want to paint the picture that you can't do a one villain superhero film, you can, but there's so much exposition and so many other things that the hero has to focus on. Because even if it's not a villain, the hero has to fight against something else. So is he fighting against a physical person, or is he fighting against something that he can only fight as his regular day-to-day persona? You know what I mean?
Morality or something, yeah.
Well, or it's like if you're Superman and Clark Kent, you got to, I'm not even acknowledging that. If you're Superman and Clark Kent, you got to be able to have a race against the deadline for Clark Kent and be fighting a villain, and both of those kind of coincide, or you have two villains. But you can't just have one villain.
I mean, would you say he kind of had that with Savitar, which is technically himself, and Zod, though? That was kind of technically both of his main villains to a point.
And that's what I was going to get to. He had Zod because he had Zod, but at the same time, he was more so fighting against himself and Savitar because so much shit was going on. He just destroyed the universe. And he's got to stop this guy from from destroying the universe. And Zod was never his villain because he never fought Zod.
And that's what I was going to get to next. I think that what also suffers from this movie, and they should have took the Batman route or the Joker route, where you try to make this a standalone movie. Because if you instead of bringing in Zod and give him his Flash villain, like a different villain, you can still sell everything that you're telling with this story. But again, I think like even what Dion said, with this paying off, not going anywhere, because we got used to this connected universe and they brought in so many elements to connect this universe. If they would have stuck to this and really try to at least give it a standalone movie, then that takes away that. Like, okay, I'm not expecting this, I'm going in like I went to with the Joker and with Joker and with the Batman, knowing that this is his own property. Yes, this character was from another movie, but make this movie feel like its own solo thing. Then it gives you, now you can still have cameos and everything. Just don't connect it as much as y'all did. And because it takes away, if it doesn't pay off, now you really feel left out.
But here's the thing to that though. I don't think an original origin of where this stuff was going would have been the payoff. Because the thing is, too, like now you have to tell me the story of Flash while telling me the story of Reverse Flash, and you have to tell me where Savitar is coming from. Plus, you're trying to throw in these cameos. So what I started to like was the in-between of it as one, we're reacting to Justice League. So it's not even really a full focus on him. This is the reaction to after all this has happened and where we're picking up, kind of sort of like to CT's point with the Batman thing of that in between from Gotham being safe to where he is now. Yeah. This is where we're seeing him. So I was kind of glad that we didn't fully jump into here because we know Flash doesn't know who Reverse Flash is. So I didn't want that to distract from the main thing, which was his mother. And that's why I was glad, like, we didn't have so many things to take us away from that. And to the same point, like CT said, not having Iris West in it either, because that wasn't necessary all for this film. There was a lot of details. Yeah, we could have left out.
My apologies, my ignorance. So there was a Reverse Flash and Savitar in this movie?
No. Yes, but no. So we all know that the Reverse Flash is the person that kills the Flash mother. Yeah, the Flash's mother. But in this movie, they just focus on Savitar. And I respect how they handled Savitar in this film because even I did not realize that it was Savitar that was hunting him. I thought it was the Death Flash.
Well, I was going to ask you that. Did they confirm that was Savitar? Because like when I saw it, I assumed it was Savitar at first, but then I was like, well, they're not saying the name, and I'm like, that's a big name, so I didn't hear it.
They never said the name, but if you know how Savitar looks, you know that's Savitar.
And that's why I was like, it's definitely Savitar, but I'm like, they're not telling me anything.
And they showed what I appreciate. They showed the origin of Savitar being, I'm you. Just later, and the shit that was so addictive was him saying, "I'm so close, I almost got it figured out." And it's like, nigga, you've been and he said, "How long have you been doing this?"
Like, nigga, how long you been that close?
I gotta carry the one.
I gotta carry the one. Like, there's no way if him, and that goes to show one. This is how I knew it was going to be Savitar. When they showed 18-year-old Barry kill one of Zod's generals. I was like, oh shit. And even older Barry was like, whoa, we don't do that. But seeing him do that was like, oh shit. you don't think like I think because you're 18 years old and you don't know how valuable these powers are. And you don't know that with great power comes great responsibility. And you don't know that the trials and tribulations to becoming a hero. And him saying, you made me a hero. I'm the Flash. And it's like, no, you're not.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what was so brilliant.
So him getting stabbed. Remember him getting shot in the leg, right?
Yeah.
So obviously he couldn't walk. So
should have healed way faster.
Right. But also he got stabbed numerous times. So are they not like hurting him because he kept going back in time, kept getting stabbed for unlimited amount of times? So in the back, face, cut, legs. So like, how is he still running this fast?
I'm assuming adrenaline kick in at that point. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because remember, again, what CT was saying, like the addiction of I'm this close. So you got that adrenaline going. You're not really at that moment. Because I mean, you got to think, he's been running back and forth that whole time, back and forth. He never really had a moment to stop and think what I'm doing. You know, so he like that adrenaline probably was kicking in while he wasn't impacted. That's what I'm assuming, but like they didn't really explain why that wasn't impacting him either.
Well, to Dion's case too, though, like also and CT's other healing factor. How long were you in that point in time before you came back to the chrono bubble? So when he went back, he could have been standing there, like you said, with the adrenaline running, heals and catches that spike again, runs back in, and that could have been the consistent healing from the time he was sitting at that point in time.
What if Zod was catching on like, here he is? Got his ass again. They was waiting for him.
No, he technically did. He did when they were doing the tornado, and he slowed down and saw where he was at and got him. And I was just like, I was waiting for somebody to do that in this movie. I was like, can't Kryptonians see him? Like they can slow down and catch him.
What I was like, Old Barry should have known that. He was like, yeah, we're definitely faster than Superman. Like, bro, did you forget?
No, but again, he would not know that because he has not fought no Kryptonians outside of Zod.
Old Barry in Justice League when Superman caught him. Old Barry should have remembered that.
Oh, at that point, well, yeah, but you can't equate that to all Kryptonians. You could just think that's Superman.
I mean, true, but I can
see him
together. Like, wait a minute, hold on.
I see your point, but I can see him overlooking that that being a Kryptonian thing.
The funny moment, bro, is when young Barry kept coming back into the chrono pole, talking to older Barry. He's like, "All right, come on, just one more time, let's get it in." And he's like, "Hey, you just gonna leave me out there by myself? Come on, I need you. Let's go." And then he comes back. He's like, "Where are you?"
And Barry just like.
It's just like because he was realizing, we're destroying shit. This is an inevitable point. Nothing's gonna get fixed like this, and this guy doesn't realize it. It's up for me to stop him, and in me trying to stop him, now older him comes to attack me because he realizes I'm the problem. If I'm not here to stop him, nobody's gonna stop him. Yeah. So if he gets me out the way, he could keep doing this to eternity and keep destroying universes. That movie was so brilliant. For the nitpicky things that I've mentioned already, this movie is just phenomenal. It's probably the best DC film since Batman Returns.
That's what I said. I said top 3 DC films right now.
Yeah.
And even to your point earlier, Deuce, how you saying you didn't like him with the trash pickup thing. That's what made this such a great writing to CT's point, because look what happens when we put you in the forefront. You're not ready. And because we left you to your own devices, what happened? You almost destroyed the universe.
Yeah.
This is why we put you right here, so we get you to the point you need to be, which was another reason why I was glad that they didn't give us so much of his stuff and throw Reverse Flash in there, throw all of this in there before that, because I can see how they were building to get Flash there.
And here's the thing. He's going to be, from a business standpoint, if this would have made the money that they wanted, he would have been the Flash moving forward. And just based off of how much money they've spent on his legal situation.
And I was about to say, that's really my next point. I understand why they didn't scrap it. These niggas blew up everything in this movie.
Everything. For them to have spent the money they did on this film, and don't forget, because nobody's mentioning this movie has had some really hard start stops before it was even made.
Yeah.
We went through, I think, 3 or 4 directors before this thing even saw the light of day. So with all of that money down the drain and the money that they lost by not being able to promote it, and the writer's strike, and the money that they spent on Ezra Miller's legal situations and getting that swept under the rug, they're like, look, if this movie makes some money, he's just going to be the Flash moving forward. And it didn't help that the director said, yeah, there's no way we do a sequel without Ezra Miller.
Yeah.
So he's going hard. They even said publicly, no matter what his legal problems was, this movie was coming out. And we were like, what?
And one thing they proved very much, though, Jonathan Majors is not coming back as Kang.
Really?
What are you talking about?
No, like if you see it, because of your history and what happened, I really believe that also played a factor in why people didn't go see this movie. Like, yo, I don't want to see this guy. Like, I don't support what he did. Right. I don't support his actions.
I know three women who would say, I'm not going to see this movie.
And that you can definitely tell this took a hit from that.
Man, you come straight out of a comic.